In for a quick recap of 2017 and what's to do for 2018 for Vel Lewis Music. Vel, thanks for being here. Let's talk a little bit about the high points of 2017, and we'll get to the other side in just a minute.
Yeah, there's been quite a few high points in 2017 for me and the band, actually. We started off the year in January with a really nice show with Larry Braggs as one of the featured vocalists on the show, and that was at Sugarland Auditorium here, and a very successful show, I believe. They had quite a good crowd, even though it was, torrential rains outside, but everyone showed up and had a great time. And we went into the next part of the year with the House of Blues and performed there, I think, 3 times during this past year. And that's been really a nice thing to do, especially to be in both rooms, from the smaller room up to the large room. And I think the biggest highlight was the performance that we did at Smart Financial Center on the Great Day Houston show on KHOU TV, which was really nice. Did basically a feature on the Smart Financial Center, but it went through the whole hour of the show where our band and myself actually performed on, I think, 4 of the 7 segments of the show, which is unusual for bands that I've seen that perform on TV shows. So I was really happy about that.
Houston has really embraced you, haven't they?
Yes, they have. It's been really nice.
2017 also saw a little bit of rain in Houston. The name of that rain is called Harvey, and many were affected by the rain, and as well as you were. How are you doing?
Hanging in there, because I just happen to be living in an area of Sugarland, Riverstone area where we were affected pretty heavily with about 5 feet of water in the subdivision. The good thing is my house experienced less than a foot of water. But because of that, we still had to pretty much throw everything out that was on the first floor, all the furniture, beds, and everything. Piano suffered a little damage, but hopefully we can survive through that just by replacing the legs and some of the pedals. It seems to be working fine. But overall, it's been a big nightmare, to say the least, of being evacuated under mandatory evacuation by boat in the middle of the night. It wasn't fun at all, but to get through it now and see that it could have been a blessing in disguise, because now things are starting to blossom very nicely where even though my car was totaled, I've got a new one now and got a really good deal on it. And we're getting things done in terms of getting the house repaired slowly, but in a way, the way we like it now. So we're doing some additions and amendments in terms of rebuilding, which I think is going to be even nicer than what the house was before.
The City of Houston really stepped up to the plate when it came to helping people, didn't they?
Yes, indeed, yeah.
Talk about that.
Well, there's been a few things I think that the city has done with websites that they've set up for people to be able to donate. The American Red Cross also stepped in pretty nicely too and helped anyone who needed emergency help right away. Even though it wasn't a lot, but enough to be able to cover miscellaneous expenses, and they did it pretty quickly. Also, through the City Council of Houston, I noticed that some of the council members were very active and still are to find people who are, I guess you can say, forgotten to some degree, because things for a lot of people have gotten back to normal, but there's still quite a few people who are still displaced and not really talked about too much these days, but they've brought it to the attention of everyone through Facebook posts. I've seen a lot of coverage on the news as well, that we still need to look for these people and make sure that they're okay. Those elderly people, for example, who have no one, and no one's really checked to see if they're okay. So,
you're originally from Philadelphia, by way of Atlanta.
True.
In Houston. Set the scene of jazz for the City of Houston. Is it in good shape?
It's in really good shape from what I can tell, and I'm liking it more so than any other city that I've been in for quite a while. The contrast, for example, from being in Atlanta for about 5 years, which is saturated primarily with hip hop and rap, it was really depressing to see some of the older jazz clubs that had been in existence in Atlanta just closing down after years of successful business with the jazz musicians. I talked to a few of them that had been playing at some of these establishments for years, and it was depressing to hear, that they may not have anywhere to go. But they had a nice run during the years that they performed, and hopefully they'll be able to find some other way of making a living. But
So overall, jazz in Houston is in good shape. A lot of great artists here.
a lot of great artists, yeah. There's Bobby Lyles, a good friend of mine. He's here doing a show next month with Kyle Turner, who's gotten very popular throughout the city, playing in a lot of the venues here, and that has a very good draw. Another friend of mine, Dean James, saxophonist, is here. By the way, I just got news last night that he had to go in the hospital for some surgery. And just pulling for him because I know he's going to come out strong. That's the way he plays. And the other good thing that I like about it here is that the radio stations are very supportive of the musicians here. Getting them involved in different functions and a lot of nonprofit type scenarios where they're raising money for various events. There's one coming up in January that I'll be doing, which is a fundraiser for 2 of the local high schools here to raise some money for the students to be able to have the things that they need for graduation. So
This is a busy time as we're taping this around the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and such. What are you doing for the holidays?
well, for Thanksgiving, I'm flying out to California to spend some time with family. My brother still lives out there, and my daughter. And it'll be nice to have Thanksgiving dinner with them. But then the next night, I'll be going up to Santa Barbara to do a private cocktail party with some friends there. And then when I get back, I'll be preparing for my own birthday party, which will be over at Bee's Wine Bar. We're going to do that on December 1st. And the band is really anxious to just do a big jam birthday party session. I'm looking forward to that. And then coming up for Christmas, December 17th, we have a show scheduled, which is going to be Christmas Jazz at the Garden. And that's at Central Garden Baptist Church. And I'm looking forward to that as well, because another friend of mine, Tom Braxton, is coming down to join us. So we'll have 2 saxophones, Kyle Turner as well on sax, with me in the middle on organ. And Kyle's bringing his band too, so it'll be a wonderful event.
That's a must-do event for the holidays.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
you're here in Houston and you are watching this prior to the event, go there.
Yes,
Get your
absolutely.
tickets.
Get them now.
Paint a picture for 2018. What are you looking at in 2018, looking ahead?
I want to get a new album out. I've been working on the material now to get it tight to a point where the band can start listening to it. And again, we just had a conversation this morning with the bass player, Morgan Stevenson. And he's very excited about getting this stuff under his belt so we can, really rehearse through the tracks and get the band tight till we can go in the studio and just really knock it out. So I'm really excited about that.
Will you be recording that here in Houston as well?
Yes.
Very cool. We're happy you're here. Vel Lewis music is phenomenal, and it really is brought the spark back to jazz in the Houston market. So thanks for that.
My pleasure. Looking forward to doing more.